Anyways, on to a different idea. Let's talk about attraction. Not attraction in like a hippie way, although even the hippie way is fun to talk about and does make a whole lot of sense. Let's talk about attraction in the sense of how everything is attracted to every other thing within the universe. Everything is attracted to every other thing. That's an interesting thing. I had a question once, and I was thinking about zodiac signs, and I was like, the whole idea behind zodiac signs is that the positioning of the stars, the moon, of celestial bodies have an influence on your personality, etc., etc., etc. And it's quite interesting because of I had a theory that maybe that might be true because of if we understand that gravitational law is a thing and everything is attracted to every other thing, then could it be that like the celestial bodies and how they're positioned at a certain time maybe kind of shifted your DNA even slightly, and that sort of made a difference in your personality? Now, bear in mind, I said slightly because if you find that humans are more alike than they are different, but then different small differences will make a noticeable impact. In that we're all the same, but then we're different in small ways, which makes an overall difference. But then that theory is interesting and it comes across as true. I'll ask the Meta AI about it and then see what it thinks, since AI is a more intelligent version of me. But it does make sense. Just imagine if everything is connected to every other thing, and that's like physics, it's like a law, then couldn't that mean that the positioning of like the celestial bodies have an influence on how our DNA is coded, etc., etc., making slight changes in our personality? That would be interesting. That sounds true. I don't see how that wouldn't be true. Then again, I have to like see whether it is true, but like attraction is quite interesting. Even in terms of ideas. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly, because I did physics in high school, even though I flat out failed, not because I sucked at it, but didn't study. Anyways, um, if everything is attracted to every other thing, and the bigger something is, the more things are attracted to it, I'd assume that our thoughts work the same way, in that the bigger a certain idea is, the more our other thoughts will sort of revolve around that idea. Now, if that's the case, then why isn't Jupiter much close to the sun? Why is everything positioned the way it is? Because the sun is supposed to be pulling these objects, or are these objects being pulled by both the sun and some other object? Because that would make a lot of sense. If there's like a tug of war between these objects, then it will make sense for them to orbit the sun the way they do. In that, maybe there's like another celestial body pulling this celestial body, and it's much closer to that. And this, like for example, the Earth is much closer to Jupiter than it is to the sun. Actually, I don't know. I'm just sort of guessing. So that would mean that Jupiter has like a significant gravitational pull due to like the distance between them, but also because Jupiter is a bigger planet. And the sun has a gravitational pull, but then it's much further away from the Earth. So its gravitational pull is not that much, or balances out with the gravitational pull of other objects too. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? That sounds very, very interesting. Anyways, it was just an idea. Zodiac signs. Do I think they're true? Sure. Someone made the argument that the problem with zodiac signs is that they're so broad that they can almost be applied to everyone, but then I don't agree. I think if you look at your particular zodiac sign, you'll feel it is true or truer compared to like another person's zodiac sign, etc., etc. It To me it wouldn't make sense, because if they're all so broad, then that would mean I'd feel like a slight connection to all of them. And sure, like I said, humans are more similar than they are different, and zodiac signs do reflect that because of some of the rules are so broad and there's an overlap, and you'll probably have a bit of Libra just like you'll have a bit of Pisces, but then you will naturally be predominantly Pisces if you're Pisces and predominantly Libra if you're Libra, with like a bit of overlap from other signs. Because also bear in mind, if I'm born like on the 2nd of March, I'm a Pisces or something like that, and someone else is born on like a completely different time. I mean, the sun or the celestial bodies won't be that far away from where they previously were when the previous zodiac sign, in the period of the previous zodiac sign, if that makes sense. So, of course, there will be some overlap. But then that would imply that there's a huge difference between like a Pisces and like the next three zodiac signs, because of then from there, like the sun and the moon and everything would have moved so far to a point where it would have made a difference. And then that would make sense, because then you understand that there is like a clear difference between like my personality and someone else's personality, and most likely we're different zodiac signs. But then we also have to take into account what we've experienced or culture. But then I think how we think like genetically plays a role in how we react to like certain cultures, or not cultures, certain environments. That's quite interesting, ain't it? It's fun to think about things I don't know much about.